Hey, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, well, today I want to share a video with you right now about Americans not saving their money. Check this out.
Americans with an income of $100,000 a year or higher say they're living paycheck to paycheck. This may be the result of a sneaky behavioral phenomenon called lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle creep is the common pattern of making a little more money and starting to spend a little bit more money. It happens almost automatically. I think people hold these benchmarks in their mind. If I reach this position or I get this promotion or I make it to this age, then I can live this life or then I deserve to have these things. And then they kind of go a little crazy or go a little wild on it. And then it becomes like a trade off. Like they only can enjoy their present happiness and they're not able to save or plan for the future.
There's nothing wrong with wanting nice things. The mental, emotional reason why we want to acquire more is generally rooted in this need for like your perceived value. Like we live in a world where like the nicer car you drive, the higher your perceived value is.
6 out of every 10 people surveyed said that paying for everyday expenses negatively impacted their mental health.
It does take a lot of joy from just life and always being in this scarcity mindset when there isn't necessarily a scarcity to fear.
Here's why Americans feel like they're constantly struggling to keep their paycheck, even when they start making more money.
Say you get a new job and you have a little bit of a pay bump. Suddenly there's a little more room in your budget. Maybe you do some small upgrades, like you eat out rather than cook at home, or buy those Taylor Swift tickets, or upgrade your music subscriptions. Anything like that is an example of lifestyle creep. It's just these little upgrades that are very hard to undo financially or even psychologically once you've made them. A lot of people have this scarcity mindset around money and they spend so much of their lives saving. And so there can be this point where if you're constantly saving your whole life and then you finally reach this marker of financial success or you finally reach this big paycheck number, you feel like you finally deserve to enjoy your life.
The idea that people save and they just hit a point where they feel like they deserve it, I fully disagree with that. Most people don't have $1,000 in the bank. Like most people cannot handle a tire blowout, or they're going to put it on credit. There's no financial literacy, no financial education that happens. The average person does not think about lifestyle inflation at all. I think it's something that's not even on the average person's radar.
Coming out of the pandemic, there was this strong desire to go out and splurge on experiences, maybe take a trip. This is often referred to as revenge spending or revenge travel. Research shows that young adults are particularly susceptible to this. They feel discouraged by higher prices and making ends meet. So they might feel like they'll never have enough money to retire anyway. They might as well enjoy themselves now. Unlike perhaps their parents were, young adults need to be more responsible for their retirement because a lot of the safety nets that maybe their parents had, like a pension, no longer exist or are extremely rare. So they need to contribute to their own 401k if they want to shore up their financial security. There's something about spending a little more than we should that can feel like rebellious or bad. And it often can be a reaction to our family culture around money or parentified or internalized rules around what we can give ourselves. And some people might overspend as like revenge against these rules, and some might look at someone who's overspending and think and kind of label them as all bad or all good. And there can be a lot of guilt and anxiety around the consequences. Spending is a way for us to meet one need when another isn't met.
I was 19 years old when I entered my first corporate job. I was still figuring out how to adult as well as how to be in this, corporate world, making income, which for sure led to overspending. I was sad, so I would shop. I was getting serotonin through shopping. Then that led to me accumulating over $30,000 of credit card debt. And I had to figure out how the heck I was going to pay that off.
When your spending is dictated by emotions or depriving yourself or holding back your needs, that's when it becomes problematic.
I generally like to think of lifestyle in sort of two buckets. You have like your general idea of what lifestyle inflation is, which is the buying fancy cars, the buying nice things along those lines. And then there is lifestyle creep that's more like regular everyday things that if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're going without, like going to the dentist, getting oil changes on your car, right? There was a time in my life when oil change was just like not even a priority. Like,
yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, when I was younger than I am now, I wrapped up credit card debt big time because I was not educated on savings. I was not educated on just putting my money in investments and assets that can create money for me, like stocks. I didn't know anything about stocks. My 20s, 30s, I didn't know anything about stocks, not at all. Had never heard of it, no clue. Never heard of it and no clue. But as I got older, I was educated about stocks. I was educated about assets, investing in assets that could accumulate over time. But folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a holiday time and people are splurging. They're maxing out their credit cards. And just spend and continue to spend. And it's facts because let's face it, we already know that a lot of us are not getting paid enough money to save. A lot of us are not getting paid money to put away. So some young people, and a lot of folks, older folks too, look at it as just spend your money and enjoy your life. Let's go on cruises. Let's go to concerts. Let's go on lavish vacations. Let's party up. Let's just enjoy life. Because, yeah, we know we're going to get old, but we got to enjoy now. And let's just seize the moment and enjoy. Well, I used to think that way. And as I got more wiser with money, I realized that that's not wise because this body, and this is advice to everyone that's listening to my live word of the day, this body's going to get old. And there's going to come a point where we can't work anymore. So, and if when our engine runs out, who wants to be working at 90 years old, 80 years old, even I will give it even 70s. Some older folks do that to keep themselves occupied. But if you want time freedom, true time freedom, to control your own time, and you want the freedom to go and come as you please with money in your pocket, you have to invest and you have to save some money to invest in assets or use your current, your active income to invest in your assets. So later on in life, when you get older, you don't have to work as hard. You can work if you want to work. It'll be your decision if you want to work. And many Americans is living this lifestyle, just splurging. This is why the credit cards, where Americans are $1 trillion in debt when it comes to credit card debt, because we're living it up, spending money and maxing out our credit cards, trying to live up with the Joneses, keep up with the Joneses, and we're spending like it's no tomorrow. And you could ask yourself, is now when you get old now and you have no backup, no savings, and you have no money put away, and then when it comes to, like they mentioned in the video with this video was taken from CNBC television, and I thought it was very captivating to me. It's very captivating, this video. So when you have no money saved up, what are you gonna do when emergency comes? When you save it, a wise person told me this, and it was my sister-in-law. She told me that when you save your money, it saves you. Meaning that if you save your money for a rainy day, just in case your tire blows out, just in case something bad happens, you have money to back you up. But in some cases, some Americans don't think that way. Why? Because the credit card to the rescue. They take out their credit card, and that's their emergency backing. The credit card is their emergency backing The credit card is their cushion and their emergency backing. Just in case oops happen in life, like your tire blow out or your ceiling need fixing, or something breaks down, or you lost your computer, or you lost your phone, or your phone is no longer working, or something happens, they're quick to pull out their credit card. Quick to pull out their credit card. But the Bible says a borrower is a slave to the lender. And if we're not careful, if we keep on maxing out our credit cards, we'll always be a slave to paying that credit card back. Always be a slave to paying that credit card back. And this is a time in the season where people go crazy. I was just driving, coming from work, and I seen people just standing online, just going to UPS with huge boxes in their hands. Not to say that I don't do it, but huge boxes in their hand, just shopping and shopping and shopping. But we got to be careful of how we spend, and we got to be careful of, and we just got to save some money for a rainy day, just in case. But remember, excuse me, this body is going to get old. This body is going to get old, and we won't be able to work as we feel in our youth. We won't be able to work as perfect as we, as we're youthful. As we won't feel youthful all the time. And as our body get older, we get into our late 50s, early 60s, 70s. Some people are able to work, but you want to, but you don't want to work for the rest of your life. I'm going to decide I don't want to work after this job of 25 years, and I'll maybe do 26 or 27 years. I'm not going to work anymore. I want to invest in assets where I don't have to work anymore. And I think that should be the goal for many people, where you can put away money and you don't have to work anymore. Your assets is covering your bills, your lifestyle. It's covering your lifestyle, and it's covering your expenses. Well, the live word of the day is coming out of Proverbs 21 verses 20. A wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. Well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe. Peace and blessings, y'all. And if you like what I shared, smash that like button. Also subscribe to my channel. Peace and blessings, and thanks for tuning in.